Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. A lot of women out here think men are complicated, mysterious creatures who need a whole strategy manual just to understand. But the truth is, men are simple. We are driven by purpose, we respond to energy, and we pursue what we respect. And when you know how to speak to a man's spirit, not his ego, not his surface, but his spirit, you unlock something inside him that makes him chase you with everything he's got. When you understand that men are driven by purpose more than anything else, you begin to see how powerful your words can be. A man might act tough. He might walk with confidence. He might make decisions like he's got the whole world under control. But deep inside every man is a quiet question he never asks out loud. Am I enough? Men rarely admit it, but we carry that question everywhere. We carry it into our careers, into our relationships, into our responsibilities, and into every challenge life puts in front of us. The world tells a man to be strong, to figure everything out, to keep fighting even when he feels lost. And because of that pressure, men rarely hear words that refill their spirit. That's why the key note about appreciation, respect, and emotional clarity hits so deeply. When a woman understands that her tone, her presence, and her communication can touch a man's soul, she becomes unforgettable. A man doesn't chase confusion. He doesn't chase disrespect. He doesn't chase chaos. He chases a woman who gives him peace, direction, and appreciation. But appreciation doesn't mean begging, flattering, or lowering your standards. Appreciation means you speak to the man behind the armor. You speak to the person, not just the performance. You recognize the effort, even if the results aren't perfect. And most importantly, you make him feel seen. Men will climb mountains, run marathons, and change their whole life for a woman who makes them feel seen. Appreciation is not weakness, it is strategic emotional intelligence. When you know how to speak into a man's life, you bring out a version of him he's been hiding or doubting. Respect is another powerful factor, not in the sense of submitting, but in the sense of acknowledging his masculine drive. Men respond to respect like plants respond to sunlight. When you show a man that you respect his efforts, his vision, and even his attempt to lead, even if he's not perfect, you create a dynamic that strengthens his connection to you. Men want to feel like the woman they care about actually trusts their direction. That trust makes him want to lead better, show up more, and commit deeper. Respect is not about praising everything he does. It's about highlighting the qualities that make him feel capable. It's about speaking life into him when he feels pressure from every direction. Now, when we talk about emotional clarity, we are talking about something most men rarely experience. Men are not mind readers. We don't understand hints, mood swings, or silent tests. But when a woman speaks clearly about her feelings, her expectations, and her appreciation, she stands out from every woman who communicates through confusion or frustration. A man finds safety in a woman who communicates with clarity. It calms him, grounds him, and opens him up emotionally in ways he didn't expect. When a woman speaks with clarity, she brings stability into a man's life. And stability is something men treasure more than beauty. Emotional clarity means telling him what you appreciate, what you expect, and what you feel in a direct yet graceful way. That clarity becomes a lighthouse in his life. When all three, appreciation, respect, and emotional clarity come together, you create a communication style that makes a man chase you, value you, and prioritize you. These qualities speak directly to his emotional wiring. Men aren't motivated by long speeches or complicated tactics. They are motivated by simplicity with meaning. When a woman says something that resonates with his identity and purpose, it sticks with him. It lingers in his mind. He goes to bed thinking about it. He wakes up thinking about it. And that's when the chase becomes natural. He's chasing not because you forced him, but because you reached him at a level life rarely touches. Most women underestimate the power of their words. They think the only way to get a man to chase is through distance, silence, or playing hard to get. But while those strategies might trigger temporary curiosity, they don't create long-term pursuit. A man might run after mystery for a moment, but he will chase meaning forever. Meaning is created through emotional connection, and emotional connection is created through communication that lifts, inspires, and challenges him in the right way. That is why appreciation matters. That is why respect matters. That is why clarity matters. They are not just behaviors, they are emotional triggers. When a man feels appreciated for his effort rather than judged for his imperfections, he becomes your protector. When he feels respected for his direction rather than corrected for every step, he becomes your provider in spirit, not just in action. When he experiences clarity instead of confusion, he tastes peace. And peace is the number one reason a man chooses, commits, and stays. Peace is the home every man is searching for, whether he admits it or not. And when you become that home, he will never allow another woman to have his time, attention, or energy. You become the place where his soul rests and his ambition rises. Your words hold power, not because they control him, but because they awaken him. The right words at the right time can inspire a man to step into his greatness. They remind him that he is capable, that he is strong, and that he is worthy of the life he dreams of. A woman who knows how to use her words wisely becomes the catalyst for a man's transformation. And a man never stops chasing the woman who brings out his greatness. When you understand the power of 5 simple words, you start to understand something deeper about men. They don't fall in love through pressure, demands, or emotional tests. They fall in love through inspiration. They fall in love with the woman who makes them feel like they can breathe, like they can win, like they can become the man they always wanted to be. Those 5 words, "I believe in you, baby," are not magic because of the sentence itself. They're powerful because of what they awaken inside a man. Men are built to provide, protect, build, and conquer. It's in our DNA. We are wired to chase goals, dreams, and purpose. But no matter how strong a man is, no matter how confident he appears on the outside, he carries private battles that nobody sees. There are days when he questions himself, his value, his direction, and his effort. When the world gets heavy, a man starts to feel like he's failing silently. That is why when the right woman speaks life into him, something shifts. Those 5 words remind him that he's not walking his journey alone. They tell him someone sees his effort even when life is pushing him down. They tell him someone believes in his potential even when he's doubting himself. Men don't get encouragement easily. We don't get applauded for trying. We don't get appreciated for our emotional effort. The world demands strength from men while giving them very little emotional support. A man can be surrounded by people and still feel like no one truly understands the weight he carries, but when the woman he cares about looks him in the eye and lets him know she believes in him, he feels something he rarely feels: emotional safety. Emotional safety for a man is the doorway to connection. A man who feels supported becomes a man who gives more, tries more, loves more, and fights harder for the relationship. He doesn't just chase the woman. He chases the feeling she gives him. That feeling becomes addictive to him. He wants more of her presence, her words, her energy, because she becomes the one place in the world where he feels uplifted instead of drained. Men are attracted to beauty, but they attach to inspiration. They stay loyal to the woman who speaks to their soul, not the woman who only reacts to their actions. Those 5 words reach a part of him that very few people ever acknowledge. They tell him he is enough, even when he feels like his life isn't perfect. They tell him he has potential, even when he feels stuck. They tell him he is valued, even when he feels unseen. A man will chase the woman who makes him feel like he can win, not because she's perfect, but because she motivates him to become better. Now, it's important to understand this. Those 5 words don't work when they're manipulative or said with insecurity. They work when they're spoken with genuine confidence. A man can feel the difference between a woman who believes in him and a woman who's trying to fix him. When you speak with true belief, not desperation, you give him emotional fuel. Men rise for the woman who believes in them, and they retreat from the woman who doubts them or tries to pressure them into becoming someone else. Belief is powerful when it comes from a woman who already believes in herself. When you have standards, boundaries, and self-respect, your words carry weight. A confident woman saying, "I believe in you, baby," hits a man differently because it comes from someone he respects. It comes from someone who isn't afraid to walk away. It comes from someone who knows her worth. And when a high-value woman believes in a man, it makes him want to become better for both her and himself. He feels honored by her belief, not burdened by it. You become the voice he hears when he's tired. You become the encouragement that pushes him when he's doubting himself. You become the soft place he wants to go when the world gets loud. And a man never stops chasing the woman who becomes his peace in a world full of pressure. Those 5 words are powerful because they speak directly to the masculine heart. Men want to succeed, men want to lead, men want to achieve, but even the strongest men need someone who believes in them. When you give him that belief, he sees you differently. He doesn't see you as just a partner, he sees you as his blessing. That belief inspires consistency, effort, loyalty, and direction. A man who feels believed in will not drift, disappear, or play games. He becomes intentional. He becomes focused. He becomes committed because a man will not risk losing the woman who gives his soul strength. When you speak those 5 words at the right moment with sincerity and confidence, you bring out the version of him that he's been trying to reach on his own. He will chase you not because you asked him to, not because you pressured him, but because he feels alive with you. And a man always chases the woman who makes him feel alive. When confidence and standards come together, they create a force that a man simply cannot ignore. A woman who knows who she is, what she wants, and what she deserves carries an energy that commands respect. Men don't chase every woman. They chase the woman who carries herself like she is already whole. Confidence isn't about being loud. It isn't about being tough. Confidence is quiet power. It is the way you walk into a room without needing eyes on you because you already see your own worth. It is the way you speak, the way you choose peace over drama, clarity over confusion, and self-respect over attention. When a woman carries herself with that kind of certainty, a man feels it. He feels the difference. He feels the standard. Standards are not rules, demands, or ultimatums. Standards are the boundaries you set that protect your peace and define your value. A woman with strong standards doesn't need to chase a man because she understands that the right man naturally steps up. Men don't run from standards. They run from chaos, neediness, and inconsistency. But a woman with standards is attractive because she signals that she respects herself enough to expect respect from others. A man looks at a woman with standards and thinks, if I want her, I better come correct. Standards create direction. They let a man know exactly what level he must operate at if he wants a place in your life. Confidence makes your energy magnetic, but standards make that magnet selective. Any woman can get attention. A confident woman with standards keeps attention because she requires effort, and men chase where effort is rewarded. When a man sees a woman who chooses herself first, who prioritizes her growth, who protects her heart, who refuses to settle for disrespect, he sees a woman who is rare. He sees a woman he cannot replace, and that rarity makes him chase. Men chase what they fear losing, and a confident woman with standards is something a man never wants to lose. Now, here's the part most people don't understand. Confidence and standards amplify the power of those 5 words. I believe in you, baby. When those words come from a woman who already believes in herself, they mean something. They carry weight. They don't sound like flattery. They don't sound like begging. They sound like truth. And a man listens to a woman who speaks with truth. He trusts her words because he trusts her character, her strength, and her judgment. He knows she wouldn't waste her belief on someone who didn't deserve it. That makes him step up. That makes him chase harder. When a high-value woman believes in a man, his entire mindset shifts. Confidence isn't just about how you act. It's about how you choose. You choose yourself even when it's hard. You choose your boundaries, even when you're tempted to break them. You choose your peace even when someone tests it. That kind of strength shows a man that you don't need him, you want him. And there is nothing more attractive to a man than being wanted by a woman who doesn't need validation from him. When you want a man but do not depend on him to feel whole, you become irresistible. You become the woman who is with him by choice, not desperation, and men chase that woman with everything they have. Standards are not about punishing a man. They are about guiding him. A good man wants to know how to show up for you. A good man wants to know what makes you feel valued. When you communicate your standards with calm confidence, not anger, not frustration, he doesn't feel attacked. He feels directed. Men love clarity. They love knowing what will make their woman feel safe, loved, and appreciated. Standards give him that roadmap. And if he cares about you, he will follow that roadmap with pride. A woman with standards doesn't tolerate inconsistency. She doesn't allow excuses. She doesn't let a man come in and out of her life like a revolving door. A man knows that if he wants to stay in her life, he has to show up. He has to communicate. He has to commit. And if he doesn't, she has the strength to walk away. That ability to walk away calmly, confidently, without drama is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can have, because it tells a man that your love is intentional, not automatic. It tells him that he has to be consistent if he wants to keep you. When a woman combines confidence and standards, she naturally inspires a man to chase her, not through games or manipulation, but through her energy. A man feels proud to stand beside a confident woman. He feels honored to be chosen by a woman with standards. She elevates him just by being in his life. She motivates him to become the best version of himself. She becomes his peace, his challenge, his inspiration, and his support. And let me tell you something. A man will chase forever the woman who raises his value without lowering her own. Confidence tells him, I am whole. Standards tell him, I choose wisely. Belief tells him, I see your greatness. When a woman has all three, a man doesn't just chase. He commits. He focuses. He steps into purpose. He protects what he has, because he knows he has found a woman who adds to his life, not one who drains from it. That kind of woman, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the woman he prays for, fights for, and works for. And once he has her attention, he never stops chasing her, because he knows the value she carries cannot be found anywhere else. Men chase what feels rare, valued, and respected, and that energy starts with how a woman carries herself. When a man meets a woman who knows her worth, something inside him switches from casual to intentional. Because men are naturally driven to pursue what stands out from the rest. The world is full of situationships, mixed signals, and surface-level connections. But a woman who carries herself with value creates a different atmosphere around her. She walks with purpose. She speaks with meaning. She doesn't accept breadcrumbs, and she doesn't entertain inconsistency. A man recognizes that energy instantly. He feels her presence before she even opens her mouth. That is the kind of woman a man doesn't want to lose. That is the kind of woman he will chase. A woman who understands her own value is powerful, because she doesn't wait for a man to define her. She defines herself. She knows what she brings to the table, and more importantly, she knows she can build her own table if she has to. She isn't impressed by bare minimum effort. A man can't just walk into her life, offer convenience, and expect her to be satisfied. She requires effort, consistency, time, and intention. And when a woman carries herself with that confidence, a man recognizes that she is not a game. She is a blessing. She is not temporary. She is a woman who can transform his life. Men also chase what feels valued. A man doesn't want to feel like he's easily replaceable. He wants to feel like the woman he's pursuing recognizes his qualities, his effort, and his presence. Men may act tough, but they want appreciation just as much as women do, maybe even more, because they rarely get it. When a woman shows a man that she values his effort, even the small things, she activates his natural desire to give more. Men are driven by accomplishment. When a woman acknowledges what he does right, instead of always focusing on what he does wrong, he feels motivated to rise for her. He feels like she sees him, not just what he lacks. That feeling is powerful to a man, because the woman who makes a man feel valued becomes the woman he works to keep. But there is a balance that makes this keynote so powerful. A high-value woman values a man's effort, but she doesn't chase him. She expresses appreciation without lowering her standards. She acknowledges what he does without tolerating what he doesn't do. She can say thank you, but she can also say, this doesn't work for me. That combination creates a dynamic that men find irresistible. A man will chase a woman who appreciates him, but he will marry the woman who appreciates him while still requiring his best. Now, respect plays a significant role in how a man decides who he will pursue long term. Men are wired to respond to respect the way flowers respond to sunlight. But respect doesn't mean weakness or submission. It means understanding how to communicate in a way that speaks to his masculine side. A woman who knows how to express herself with grace, confidence, and emotional intelligence creates a different connection with a man. She doesn't belittle him, embarrass him, or compete with him. She respects his effort, his presence, and his role. And because she respects him, he feels inspired to respect her even more. Respect is a circle. When a woman gives it in the right way, a good man gives it back 10 times stronger. Men chase what makes them feel like more of a man, and a woman who brings out the best in him is unforgettable. She challenges him not by criticizing, but by believing in him. She supports him, not by mothering him, but by standing behind him. She inspires him, not by demanding, but by expecting excellence. A man rises when the right woman believes in him, but he pursues when that same woman holds him accountable. She becomes the standard he measures himself by, and he doesn't want to fall short because he knows women like her don't come around twice. A woman who is rare also carries emotional control. She doesn't let her emotions run wild. She doesn't argue over everything. She doesn't create chaos when things don't go her way. She communicates with clarity instead of confusion. She speaks with intention instead of assumption. She resolves instead of escalating. And because she brings peace instead of pressure, a man feels safe with her. Peace is a man's number one desire in a relationship. He chases the woman who gives him peace because the world gives him everything but peace. When a woman becomes his calm, his comfort, and his clarity, she becomes the one he invests his heart into. Men also chase a woman who is selective, a woman who doesn't entertain every man, a woman who moves with purpose, not desperation, a woman who can be alone without being lonely. A man sees a selective woman as a prize, not because she's playing hard to get, but because she truly is hard to replace. He knows that if he doesn't step up, another man will. Not because she's searching, but because her energy naturally attracts quality. Selective women do not beg, do not chase, do not tolerate disrespect. They attract men who are ready, mature, and intentional. When a woman carries herself with value, appreciates a man's effort, communicates with respect, creates peace, and remains selective, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the woman a man thinks about throughout the day. She becomes the woman he doesn't want another man to have. She becomes the woman he is proud to chase, proud to commit to, and proud to build a life with.